Brother lads, welcome back to Cossy Podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. We're gonna be diving into the latest around Arsenal. Now we want to sign Douglas Luiz from Aston Villa. We did try to sign him last summer from Villa, but we failed to get the deal done. He's signed a new deal at Aston Villa. He's a very key player. He's a very key member of that squad and a Unai Emery. But Arsenal are still holding interest, and we want to bid for him once again. Of course, Arsenal are also on the cusp of signing a young Brazilian talent, 20 years of age, a midfielder. The name is Bitello. We've been talking about him on the channel for quite some time now. 20 years of age, can play as a central midfielder, defensive midfielder, attacking midfield, left midfield, and right midfield as well. So we're talking about absolute versatility. We are also talking about a player who is the real definition of a Mikel Arteta signing. Versatile, very young, and his ceiling is up there through the roof. We'll talk about Mikel Arteta and a couple of traits he has actually identified in Kai Havertz and Julian Timber as they played their first game together, plus Declan Rice, of course. He says next season we're going to take it step by step, but our focus is the big prize. We want to win it, but we will take it step by step and want to do all the right things in preseason this summer. Hit the like button for me, subscribe to the podcast. I want your thoughts on Douglas Luiz and Thomas Partey, because to be honest, and I really want to be honest on this podcast, Douglas Luiz is a player who is very talented. But I don't think he gives you the physicality of Thomas Partey, and I don't think he gives you the stability and ball-winning elite levels of Thomas Partey. I want to be honest. I love Douglas Luiz, and I think he's a very good player. But when I compare him to Thomas Partey in terms of winning the ball back, in terms of stability, and in terms of physicality in midfield, I don't think he gives you those levels. I think he's a very good player if you are going to replace Jorginho. If Chelsea wanted him to replace Jorginho, he would be a nice shot. But to replace Thomas Partey, I still have my doubts, but I need your thoughts and opinions right in the comment box below. Right, let's start off with that big story on Bitello, because Arsenal are really working at a very, very quick speed to sign this boy. Arsenal are closing in on signing Gremio midfielder Bitello. 23. It's not actually 20. He's 23, but might have to loan him back to Brazil. That is in order to get the deal done. So Bitello is a midfielder. He's a young midfielder that we've looked at very, very extensively as a club. And at some point in time, I thought he was going to be the first young Brazilian we are going to sign. But he's 23. He's no longer. I mean, when Odegaard came in at Arsenal, he was 23. So I don't think he's a young player. I don't think you bring him into the side and then he wins Young Player of the Year. Now, with Bitello, there are one or two options here. One, we're signing him to be our Romeo Lavia, because Arsenal are not going to spend 50 million on Romeo Lavia. It doesn't make any sense. After spending 200 million on players that are going to be starters, of course that means that the likes of Emil Smith-Rowe, the likes of Albert Sambi-Lokonga, if he doesn't leave, will also be available. It means that if you want depth, you just go to one of those leagues that are very good at bringing up players, and then you sign a wonder kid. Now, Bitello is a wonder kid. Everyone is looking at him. Every single team is actually talking about him. Edu this week, I think, did send in a bid, which was actually not enough, because Gremio initially were asking for around 10 million euros for 70% ownership of their rights. So they have 70% rights to the player, and they want 10 million euros for that. That means that Arsenal will also have to pay another amount of money for the 30% to own him 100%. That's the problem with Brazilian players, and that's the problem with South American talents. They have those clauses, and so many parties that own their rights, and that's why it's very hard to do a deal with them. It's very, very hard to sign them. But the good thing here is that Arsenal feel they have a very good representation with Edu. They have a master at understanding the Brazilian market, the South American market in Edu. He's worked there, I think, did he work at Corinthians or Sao Paulo for quite some time, Edu, before he came in at Arsenal. So we have someone who understands that market. So I've looked at this guy, and I don't see any defensive abilities in him. I don't want to judge, but because I've only seen him on YouTube, okay? I don't see any defensive abilities in him. He looks to me like a Javi Simmons. He looks to me like an Emil Smith Pro, a player who's happy to be on the ball, always on the go, and arriving early and late in the penalty area to finish off moves and create chances. But if Arsenal feel he's the guy that can provide more cover and depth in the squad, I think 10 million euros is good money. I don't even have a problem. I've been looking at Manchester City selling players from their academy up to 100. They made up to 100 million euros from selling players from the academy. Now, if Arsenal can go out and sign such talents, Bitello, Lokonga, Tavares, and then make a profit on them, I really don't have a problem. If Arsenal make money, they invest more. That means we can invest more as a club, and that means we can compete better. I really don't have a problem with that. Now, the problem I have is Douglas Luiz. Of course, I always have a problem on the podcast. Not so. Yeah, but this time, it's a genuine problem that I share with you guys. Okay, so Douglas Luiz is linked with Arsenal again today, and it is being reported that Arsenal want to go heels in to sign him. Now, it will cost a fee, and it will cost a significant fee after Arsenal failing to sign him at the cusp of the January transfer window and also failing to sign him at the cusp of last summer. He has extended his deal. There is a new manager at Aston Villa who actually understands him, believes in him, and trusts him. I think with Brazilian players, and this is something that I've seen and I've looked at for quite some time. With Brazilian players, they need a manager who can trust them. They need a manager who can believe in them. Like, it's non-negotiable, right? The love they must get from you as the manager, it must be non-negotiable. Like, you must believe in them. Now, Douglas Luiz has his own advantages. Before we get into the negative side, all right? I think in terms of squad depth, he's one of the best options on the market. Like, if you got him for 25 million euros, 35 million euros, and he's in that squad, I think he's much better than Jorginho. He has more legs than Jorginho, physically adept to the Premier League as well. I think he's one of those players that are really intelligent on the ball, good on free kicks, and his delivery on set pieces and on other set pieces like corners is also very, very good. Yeah, like I just gave you the advantages. The problem with this deal is that it has all the marks of Partey leaves. It has all the marks. It is indicative of Arsenal losing Thomas Partey. So he would potentially be coming in as a replacement to Thomas Partey. I understand Mikel Arteta. I understand the way he wants to play. I understand the profile of players he's trying to sign. Douglas Luiz does not replace Thomas Partey. Douglas Luiz does not come in at Arsenal to give us that Thomas Partey role. I don't think. I think if you're looking for a replacement for Thomas Partey, then it should be Romeo Lavia. Then Romeo Lavia is your go-to guy. Because with Luiz, I don't think you get the physicality, like I said at the beginning of the video, that Partey gives you. I don't think you get that defensive cover and assurance the backline deserves or needs, especially when we play with almost 5 players in attack. That defensive assurance that Thomas Partey gives you. I don't think you can ensure your defense with Douglas Luiz, and it is safe. I mean, you can ensure it with him, but it's not safe. I think with Thomas Partey, you can ensure your defense, and it is safe. You're guaranteed. You have a very, very good plan when you ensure with Thomas Partey. So that is my problem with Partey and Douglas Luiz. Luiz is a good player, Premier League proven, but I would take him to get rid of Jorginho. I would take him to get rid of El Neni. So if we are looking at getting rid of Jorginho and El Neni at the same time, yeah, give me Douglas Luiz every day, but keep Thomas Partey. If he comes in to replace Thomas Partey, I would rather take Romeo Lavia. Intelligent, progressive, very, very physical, and very hard to dispossess. Okay? Luiz is also very hard to dispossess. But of course, the other problem Arsenal will find here is that he's just signed a new deal with Villa. He's a player that Unai Emery considers a building block, right? You know, those players are very hard to displace. Like, it would be the same as if you came in at Arsenal and you said, hey, I want to sign Gabriel Martinelli or Saka or Odegaard. Those players are very, very hard to sign because they have a very huge role where they are, right? Douglas Luiz could be captain. He could be captain of that Aston Villa side. So, for me, either Arsenal are going to have to overpay, or we are going to have to walk away. We're going to have to walk away without Douglas Luiz. I don't see Unai Emery losing. With Pau Torres and Moussa Diaby and Yuri Tielemans already in the side, they're trying to get stronger, not weaker. And I don't think Aston Villa are really going to quake at the sight of 25 million euros. They've just signed Moussa Diaby for 55 million euros, actually in excess of 55 million euros. So I'm not really sure we'll get that one done, but I'll be reporting and reacting to every single rumor that actually comes out of there. Now, Mikel Arteta, I want to just run through a few of his comments about the previous game as we get into the Manchester United game. First and foremost, on Leandro Trossard, he says that it was just a knock, there was nothing serious, and there was no need to risk it, and there was no reason to risk a player important of the importance of Leandro Trossard. So it was just a small knock, just something small, and everything is right. So no need to panic. It is actually very, very fine. On Matt Turner not playing yet for Arsenal, he says he's had that kind of extended break because of the games he played for with the United States men's national team. I mean, such a long name for a country that I don't even know, are nowhere near to win the World Cup ever in the next 30 years. Just a little bit of banter there. But Mikel says he will join us very soon, right? Mikel says he will join us very soon. So there is nothing to be afraid of when it comes to Matt Turner. And I think Matt Turner will get some minutes next season. Like the FA Cup for me, I'm not saying we should, we should not consider the FA Cup. What I'm saying is that he's a much better penalty saver than Aaron Ramsdale. Yes, Aaron Ramsdale has gone the right way on a couple of occasions, but he's never served a penalty for Arsenal, apart from the Patrick Bamford one, Leeds United away, that actually went wide. So, in my opinion, we should see more of Matt Turner in those decisive games, semi-finals and quarterfinals. All right. Mikel was asked about Arsenal being great again and the fact that we go into every single game either expecting a point or three, rather than 5 years ago, 6 years ago, where Arsenal were underdogs in so many situations and we were no longer seen as a big club. And he says Arsenal is a massive club that has never changed. We are lucky to represent the Arsenal, and the boys every single day we tell them how lucky they are to represent the club. Massive. Absolutely massive. Like 13 league titles, record holders of the FA Cup. We are a massive club. All we got to do now is to match the record of Chelsea, match the record of Liverpool and Man United in the UEFA Champions League. But Man United don't have so many UCLs. They have 3 UCLs. So if we could get 3 UCLs, we could be telling Manchester United what's up. We could be telling Manchester United what's up. Of course, they have so many Premier League titles. That era under Sir Alexander Chairman Ferguson was big, but you say you get the Champions League, you're a big boy. You say what's up? Madrid don't have a Premier League, but I tell you what, their Champions League legacy makes them the biggest club, one of the biggest clubs in the world. Okay. Mikel on Kai Timber and Rice, it says the fluidity is something that he anticipated while signing these players, and they're also now forming relationships which we will need next season. I mean, it looks like they've been playing together. That's the beauty of signing high quality players and that are really technically gifted and really talented. You don't take a lot of time going through the basics. So all Mikel Arteta has to do, in my opinion now, is look at these players and tell them This is what I want you to do, and this is why. This is what you have to drop from the values and the footballing ways you've actually picked up in the recent years. I looked at Kai Havertz and the way he arrives into the box. That is why we signed him. Julian Timber as a cornerstone of possession, and Declan Rice as the midfield boss. If we get those relationships well, if we form those relationships, by game week 25, we should be champions. Like, if we play the way we played against the Major League Soccer All-Stars, and we keep on improving, by match day 25, we should be announced champions. No questions about that. Okay. Mikel Arteta on Timber's versatility, dynamism, and aggressiveness. He says that is why he signed him. He signed him because he's an aggressive player. And one of the things you'll see with Julian Timber is ruthlessness and, quick decision making. So he's one of those players that play in very high positions on the pitch because of his ability on the ball. So when he comes back, he's always coming back a little bit late, right? Late for action, late for the party. So one of the advantages here is when he drops back, when he comes back, he's not waiting for the ball, or he's not waiting for action to take place. He will jump in and will either put the ball out of action, make a very, very good sliding tackle and all that. He's a very, very good guy at sliding tackles. But the dynamism is something that we have already seen in the recent game. He's such a quality player. But of course, Mikel Arteta says the versatility is something that he will add to Arsenal this season. He says Kai Havertz is going to be used as a target man this season because of the quality and the size he possesses as a player. And he says there will be more chances for rotation next season as compared to last season because he wants to be as unpredictable as possible. I don't think he has a choice. He has got more games. That means you have to rotate. He's got more, much better players now. That means you have to rotate, and he's got a bigger squad. So if you want to keep everyone happy, which is impossible, can you believe that Bernardo Silva, Ilkay Gundogan, Riyad Mahrez, Kyle Walker, Alexander Zinchenko, Gabriel Jesus, Raheem Sterling, all those players have left the club of the most adept manager at rotation. I don't think there is any a better manager than Pep Guardiola at rotating players. I don't think there is a better player, a better manager. But all those players have gone. We need something new. We need more minutes. We need to be guaranteed starters. So Mikel needs to know that point in time will happen. But when it happens, he should have played every player for a significant amount of minutes so that we've seen them enough to guarantee us some good money. Mikel was asked whether we will focus on winning the league next season, and says we have to go step by step and we have to make the right things starting in preseason. I don't think he has any other thing on his mind apart from winning a major trophy right next season. I'll see you right in the next one. Ciao.